motivate you for years, and that's what it's done for me. Is it's motivated me to be back in this game again, and I want to make sure that I can have that winning feeling, not that losing one, because that losing feeling is one that you'll never forget.
Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts were both selected first and second team All-Pros this season, respectively, and will now meet in the Super Bowl, and it will mark the 6th Super Bowl starting QB matchup. First team and second team All-Pros from that given season. The second team All-Pro QB has won each of the previous 5 matchups. Now we've got Dan Orlovsky and Keyshawn Johnson here with us.
There they go.
There we go. Fellas, welcome. All right. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Before you move on, I want to know what the heck are you wearing there, Steve?
Yeah, it's a pretty fly jacket.
It's a great jacket.
It's a pretty fly jacket.
It looks like one of them jackets that they just say, take it, you can have it.
No, you know better. You know better than that. It's pretty fly. All right, it's pretty fly. Yeah, that's true. At least I have a jacket on. But Dan Orlovsky, where the hell are you? What kind of background is that? I mean, where is that? Where are you?
It's a
I'm in Las Vegas. I'm in Vegas.
The sun is rising.
Go ahead. Let's get to some football.
Phoenix tonight, Stephen A.
All right.
All right. The sun is rising. All right, Stephen A. All right, Stephen A. Let's.
All right. Go ahead.
All right, Stephen A.
Some voice in our ear. Some voice in our ear we've never heard before.
There's some voices going on. We're hearing voices. All right, Stephen A. Who would a Super Bowl victory mean more to, Mahomes or Hurts?
Oh, I think it would be more, for me personally, I think it would mean more for Hurts, considering where he's coming from. I mean, this guy comes into the league. He's a second-round pick. He got beat out on the collegiate level by Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama before having to transfer to Oklahoma. People questioned whether or not he would ever be a quarterback in the National Football League because while his athleticism couldn't be questioned, you didn't have a lot of confidence in his ability to throw the football. So you come there, you take over the starting job last year. In just your second season, you're clearly the most improved player in the National Football League. You're a top 2 candidate for league MVP honors. You guide the Philadelphia Eagles to the best record in football. When you were on the field, they only lost 1 game all season long, and then you take them to the Super Bowl and you beat Patrick Mahomes to do it. I definitely think that it would do a lot more. We know Mahomes is going to be around for years and years and years to come because he's just incredible. But when you look at Hurts and where he came from to be where he is right now, that's why I say the name Jalen Hurts, guys.
It certainly could be Hurts, but I think it's Mahomes in this situation because Patrick has now been there 3 times. He's got 1, right? And he's been in AFC Championship 5 straight years. Okay, if he loses this Super Bowl, I think people start to, the weird thing about it is they start to look at him more like, okay, Aaron Rodgers, like he keeps saying he's going to win all these Super Bowls. Think about the first Super Bowl. Many people had him as Michael Jordan-ish, saying, okay, he's going to win 10 Super Bowls in 3 years if that can happen. He's just dynamic. There's no question about it. He is dynamic, and there's no question about it. They wouldn't be here without him. But when you look at it, he has these young guns in the AFC. They are coming, regardless of what happened in Buffalo with Josh Allen. I know they beat Cincinnati. We don't know what Deshaun is. We don't know what Justin Herbert is quite yet. Now, all of a sudden, you got Sean Payton and Russell Wilson in the division, and I think Sean Payton will get Russell Wilson turned around. So when you start looking at the quarterback landscape in the AFC Conference, you've got to think, I'm here now. I've got to get this thing done because there's no promise that I'm going to continue to just keep coming back year in and year out as these teams continue to get better. We don't know what Baltimore is going to wind up doing offensively. We have no idea. So as the conference gets stronger, the division gets stronger that he's in, now all of a sudden you don't get that AFC Conference championship game at home, something that you've had every single time you made it to the Super Bowl. And if you don't cash in and take care of business on that now, you may never get back to that. And now we're sitting up saying, well, he won 1. He went to 3. He's got 2 MVPs. What does it look like for him and his legacy and his career? That conversation will start to come up.
Might never get back to 1. What are you talking about?
May never get back to 1. You just may never. There is no.
The Chiefs have more rookies.
The
Chiefs have more rookies playing than anybody in the NFL. They're going to get back. Patrick's going to get back.
There's no guarantee.
Patrick, Patrick, if there's one guarantee in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes is going to be in AFC Championship games and Super Bowls. This week means way more to Jalen Hurts. All right, there's been 5 guys that have been non-first-round quarterbacks to go on and win the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, Joe Montana, Kurt Warner, Brady and Mahomes, I think are the 5. Jalen Hurts would be the 6th. What is Jalen Hurts most famous for right now? If you asked most football fans, what is he most notorious for?
Jacques Vaughn talking about the Kyrie Irving trade.
My interactions with Kai have always been positive. I enjoyed coaching him. I'll keep it that simple. We've had some ups and downs along the way. I've also seen him grow as an individual and be a better teammate than when I first met him. So for me, I'm always look at the good in people and want the good in people, and I want him to succeed.
Speaking of ups and downs, on Friday morning before Irving's trade request, the Nets had the second shortest odds to win the title, behind only the Celtics. Now, those odds have plummeted all the way to plus 2,000, which gives them the 11th shortest odds, according to Caesars Sportsbook. We are going to have a lot more with legs later in the hour, but we got to do some football because the Super Bowl is only 5 days away. It is featuring the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. In case you hadn't heard, the Chiefs had the most passing yards in the NFL this season, while the Eagles allowed the fewest. It is the 3rd Super Bowl matchup between the top units in those categories. Also the 3rd time ever that the top 2 teams in defensive sacks have met in the Super Bowl. Philly had 70 of them during the regular season. Kansas City had the next most with 55. And with Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes squaring off, this is the first Super Bowl to feature 2 black starting quarterbacks. Both of those players talked last night about the historic matchup.
It's historic. I think the game has evolved, and it's continuing to evolve before our eyes. That's a beautiful thing to see, to be a part of this history. It's a blessing.
I have a lot of respect for the guys that came before me and laid the foundation. They gave me the position to be here. It's going to be a special game and a special moment for a lot of kids to watch as they grow up and try to assume that role that we're trying to set the example for.
This is about as close a matchup as it can be. The teams have identical win-loss records. They've scored the same number of points. They have the exact same number of all-pro selections. And our analytics are split right down the middle, giving each team a 50% chance to win. So it can't end in a tie. That's again, they'll just play overtime until somebody wins it. It is, after all, a must-win game, as we found out from Nick Sirianni. So when we look at how teams can separate themselves in a close game like this, what's the biggest weakness that Patrick Mahomes can exploit in the Eagles?
It's actually the Eagles' run defense. They're 24th in the league. They give up about 4.6 yards per carry. Now, Andy Reid is a very aggressive offensive coach, play caller. Him and Eric Bieniemy really try to push the ball down the field. It'll be interesting to see from a strategic standpoint, do they modify their approach this game because their matchup, they have a really good running back in Isaiah Pacheco, averages almost 5 yards a carry. As you mentioned earlier, Dan, they activated Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so they have a little bit more depth there. So from a strategy standpoint and a chess match, I'm really interested to see, will Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy modify themselves a little bit to exploit the one vulnerability of that Eagles defense, which is stopping the run?
Yeah, I think the Eagles defense, the stopping the run thing I understand, but they're really good at limiting big plays. So I would find a way, if I was the Chiefs, to try to find a way to create big plays. And that way, I think, is using Travis Kelce in the middle of the field. There hasn't been an answer for Travis Kelce all season, and that's where Eagles are weakest in the passing game. They're number 1 in the league outside the numbers. They're number 26, I think, in the league inside the numbers through passing attack, and that's where Travis Kelce likes to work. So I think that's the way that they beat them. Yes, some running, but you're going to have to get big chunks against any NFL defense, especially one this good.
What do you think? How do the Chiefs attack the Eagles?
I think Edwards-Helaire is a guy that, before his injury, he's a big screen guy. So when you have a physical, aggressive front that likes to get up the field and pass rush, the one way that you can really attack that is through the screen game. And Patrick Mahomes' ability to sidearm the ball and get it through the traffic, I think having a running back that you can run the screens through is really going to slow down the front. That's how you slow them down, screen game.
Add him to Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, who had a big finish to the season. They do have depth at that running back position. Let's flip it around. How do the Eagles take advantage of a Chiefs' weakness?
Well, I think it's the offensive tackle. If you go across the board here, the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs, they're solid in the middle, but on the outside, you know, Wiley's a kind of a weak link there. So you have a great pass rusher. We know that the Eagles can get after the quarterback. So again, if you look at Reddick and what he's been able to do, he's got 19.5 sacks through the regular season and the playoffs, 3.5 in the playoffs. You saw him last week against the 49ers. They game planned terrible. They had a backside tight end coming across to try and block the best pass rusher they have. So you have to make sure that you put your best pass rusher against the weak link, take advantage of that. Maybe you get a ball off them. We've seen in the Super Bowl in the past with the Eagles playing the Patriots, it was only one rush. You get the ball off.